Radio.
Good day. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 4 in Guyana. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith with your news at noon. The quote-unquote dangerous oil and gas operations in the Stabroek block led by ExxonMobil should be shut down pending a credible international and independent investigation. This is according to international lawyer Melinda Janke, who said during a recent online discussion that the production of oil and gas should only resume if it is found to be beneficial to the people of Guyana. The lawyer said that the current PSA Guyana has with Exxon is one of the most abusive, exploitative deals ever inflicted on a sovereign people. She was keen to know that while a renegotiation of the contract is possible, the government cannot simply invite ExxonMobil and its partners to the table seeking more money, as this would lead nowhere, citing her belief that the operation is dangerous and must be shut down. Meanwhile, Guyanese using public transportation have complained that despite the reduction in fuel prices, minibus and taxi operators have refused to lower their fares, which they had jacked up due to the hike in gas prices. Over the weekend, Finance Minister Dr. Ashani Singh announced that at Guy Oil, the gasoline price has been reduced by 25% and diesel price has been reduced by 15%. However, 3 days since the reduction, there has been no movement in the fares. One citizen commented that without a regulatory agency with enforcement powers, everything else is lip service. And now let's tell you, after being denied funds for its operations for the first time since its inception in 2017, the International Decade for People of African Descent Assembly Guyana is currently assessing its options as it seeks to continue its functions without the financial support of the government. It is understood that the group, which was formed to answer the call of the United Nations under the International Decade for People of African Descent 2015 to 2024, has not received any funding from the government since the start of the month. As such, Chairman of the organization, Vincent Alexander, said that the group is reviewing its options to the current changes. Alexander said that since the organization responded to the request for information by the government, there has been no further communication. And now let's tell you, the world must halt deforestation, plant trees and make the planet greener, and restore productive capacities and use forests and trees sustainably. Q.U. Dongyu, of the Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, told the opening of the 26th session of the Committee on Forestry, or COFO, on Monday. Forests cover 31% of the world's land surface, store an estimated 296 gigatons of carbon, and are home to the majority of the world's terrestrial biodiversity. They are a source of fiber, fuel, food, and fodder, and they provide livelihoods for millions of people, including many of the world's poorest. Forests help mitigate and adapt to climate change and improve soil, air, and water quality. If sustainably managed, forests are also a source of renewable raw materials. In other news, the Guyana Court of Appeal has taken a decision to hear the appeal over the dismissal of elections petition filed on behalf of the opposition. The decision to move forward with the petition came on Monday after Chancellor of the Judiciary, Yonit Cummings Edwards, and Justices of Appeal Don Gregory and Rishi Prasad considered an application to urgently hear the appeal of the elections petition, which was thrown out by Chief Justice Roxanne George Wiltshire at the High Court 19 months ago. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and of course 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We'll return after the break.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Police in Region 6 are investigating an incident where a 4-year-old girl ingested a poisonous substance on Sunday, October 2nd. We were able to confirm that 4-year-old Tanisha Shamshandar of number 50 Village, Quarantine Berbice, is hospitalized in a critical condition at the New Amsterdam Hospital. The incident reportedly occurred at 17:45 at number 50 Village. The mother of the toddler told police that she had gotten a 1-liter Pepsi bottle of Gramazone from her mother-in-law on Thursday, September 29th, to spray her yard. She said she secured the bottle in a goat pen at the back of her property between a used tire. However, on Sunday, little Tanisha was playing in the yard and she reportedly got into the pen without anyone seeing. Sometime after, she ran to her mother and told her that she drank some liquid from the bottle in the pen. The mother then rushed her to the Port Morant Hospital, where she was treated and subsequently transferred to the ICU of the New Amsterdam Hospital. And now let's tell you, on Monday, the High Commission of Canada announced a new project partnership with the North Rupununi District Development Board. Through the Canada Fund for Local Initiatives, the High Court is supporting a community project to preserve traditional Indigenous knowledge through the empowerment of Indigenous women leaders within their communities. This project, a press release from the Commission stated, is particularly significant since it will be contributing to the global effort to preserve Indigenous languages during the International Decade of Indigenous Languages, as many of them are endangered because they're not taught in schools or spoken more publicly. Current data indicates that at least 40% of the 7,000 languages used worldwide are at some level of endangerment. And in other news, one of the key principles of establishing the Caribbean Single Market and Economy, or CSME, was and still is to achieve regional integration and economic growth within the region. The ways in which businesses are conducted shall significantly impact the achievement of sustainable development and growth, Chairman of CARICOM, President Chandrika Prasad Santokhi of Suriname, has said. Santokhi was at the time making remarks during the launch of CARICOM's interactive marketplace suspension procedure last week. And to wrap things up, let's tell you that a 23-year-old man identified as Jamal Gilks was on Friday remanded to prison for the alleged rape of an underage girl in a community located in the Upper Berbice River, Region 10. Gilks, a resident of Kwakwani Park, Upper Berbice River, appeared at the Linden Magistrates Court before Magistrate Wanda Fortune. He was charged with the offense of rape of a child under 16 years and was not required to plead to the charge. A decision was taken to remand him to prison until November 8. The allegation leveled against reportedly took place on July 8, but police had only managed to arrest him on September 7th. That should be on September 27th. With the time now moving on to 12 hours 12, we wrap things up with the page 7 of today's Kaieteur News, dedicated to being blunt. Guyana, there is too much at stake to go down as weaklings. We at Kaieteur News have been doing our best to highlight all that is wrong with this massive oil find that our citizens are losing out on. We have bent over backwards to show Guyanese the dangers that lurk, not just because we know that we are being cheated out of our oil wealth by the foreign companies with the assistance of our politicians, but because we know too that if someone does not pay attention to what is happening, there is a high likelihood that we will never truly develop as much as this resource would allow us. Our government is not concerned that our oil expenses far outweigh what we receive, and that we may never benefit from the 50-50 share as a result. They are not concerned that our institutions and human resources are lacking. Yet, government is allowing Exxon to go full steam ahead with its contract. Our environment is still not secured, yet we're docile in our response. Guyana, there is too much at stake to go down as weaklings. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.